Tonight, our coverage as an Ontario school faces backlash for playing a Palestinian freedom song for a Remembrance Day presentation. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Aisha Ashraf. In Ottawa, Ontario, a school's choice of music for its Remembrance Day ceremony has sparked controversy. Sir Robert Borden Secondary School used an Arabic language song associated with Palestinian protests as the backdrop for its Remembrance Day presentation. The song is titled Hazza Salam and translates to "This is Peace." It accompanied a slideshow honoring Canadian soldiers. The presentation was shown during 3 assemblies for students from grades 7 through 12. Some Jewish students and parents expressed their discomfort with the musical selection. Principal Aaron Hobbs initially defended the choice. Hobbs said the song was intended to introduce diversity to a traditionally Western-focused ceremony. However, following a private meeting, he issued an apology. Hobbs now says the song has caused significant distress to some in the school community. Lisa MacLeod, a member of provincial parliament, has expressed frustration over the choice of the song. MacLeod is questioning how the selection aligns with Royal Canadian Legion protocols. She is calling for the school administration to address the issue. The National Council of Canadian Muslims says such rhetoric, particularly from an elected leader, is profoundly inappropriate. The group says the comment not only fuels harmful stereotypes, but also marginalizes entire communities. The Ottawa Carleton District School Board has yet to issue a statement on the issue. 2 major North American Muslim groups are condemning violent actions by Macabi Tel Aviv fans during a Europa League match in the Netherlands. Macabi Tel Aviv is an Israeli professional football club. Tensions in Amsterdam escalated between Israeli fans and pro-Palestinian demonstrators. Videos show Macabi supporters attacking Arab taxi drivers and vandalizing property. They can be seen assaulting, burning flags, and chanting violent slogans. The National Council of Canadian Muslims and the Council on American Islamic Relations denounced the attacks. The National Council of Canadian Muslims is urging Canadian leaders to directly address the attacks. CARE's Deputy Director Edward Ahmed Mitchell has likened the violence to racial attacks in the U.S. Both organizations are calling for accurate media reporting. The groups demand a balanced response to prevent further hate and division. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has nominated Congresswoman Elise Stefanik as his ambassador to the United Nations. The Senate has confirmed her appointment. Stefanic is a staunch pro-Israel advocate with limited foreign policy experience. She has been vocal in her support for Israel. Stefanic gained prominence last year for criticizing university leaders over free Palestinian protests on U.S. campuses. She has called such protests anti-Semitic. She has labeled slogans like "From the river to the sea" as calls for genocide. Stefanic has also been a vocal critic of the UN stance on Israel. The U.S. military has launched airstrikes against Iranian-aligned targets in Syria. This comes in response to the recent attacks on U.S. forces. The United States Central Command says the strikes send a strong message to the groups. Commander General Michael Eric Kurilla says attacks on U.S. personnel will not be tolerated. The strikes targeted 9 sites in 2 locations. They aim to disrupt the ability of these groups to plan further attacks. The U.S. has around 900 troops in eastern Syria and 2,500 in neighboring Iraq. The U.S. says these troops are assisting in the fight against ISIS. No details on casualties from the U.S. strikes have been confirmed as of yet. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is calling for an immediate halt to Israel's military operations in Gaza and Lebanon. The Crown Prince's comments came at the opening of a key Arab Islamic summit in Riyadh. Bin Salman condemned the massacre against Palestinians and Lebanese. He urged Israel to stop its aggression and called for global recognition of Palestinian statehood. Leaders from the Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation echoed his condemnation. Lebanon's prime minister warned of an existential crisis due to Israel's war with Hezbollah. Iranian officials denounced Israel's targeted killings. The summit concluded with a strong statement reaffirming the sovereignty of Palestine over East Jerusalem and rejecting Israeli actions to Judaize the city. The Sudanese ambassador to Tunisia is accusing the United Arab Emirates of supporting paramilitary rapid support forces in Sudan. Ahmed Abdel-Wahid condemns the actions of the group, calling atrocities horrific and brutal. Wahid made the comments in an interview with Arabi 21. He says the conflict has resulted in the displacement of millions of Sudanese citizens. Wahid says civilian areas under the group's control face severe shortages of food, looting, and bans on farming. The ambassador has highlighted gruesome violations, including killings, torture, and rape. He says some acts are documented by the perpetrators. He also pointed to the UAE's role in seeking to exploit Sudan's natural resources, particularly in Darfur. More than 25 Palestinians have been killed today in an Israeli airstrike targeting Deir al-Balah city. Beit Hanun has been under siege for over 40 days. Families displaced by the ongoing violence have sought refuge in schools and unbombed homes. They have been surviving without food for weeks. The Israeli army says 4 more soldiers have died in northern Gaza. This brings the total number of Israeli casualties in the ground offensive to 375. Israel has not met demands of the U.S. to alleviate the dire conditions in Gaza. The U.S. told Israel last month that it had 30 days to significantly increase the humanitarian aid it allows into Gaza. The deadline expired today. This comes as international aid groups are reporting worsening conditions in northern Gaza. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed at least 43,603 Palestinians. More than 100,000 have been wounded. Israel faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its actions in the besieged enclave. In Lebanon, Israeli airstrikes have killed 1 person and injured 4 in Hermel. Artillery shelling with incendiary phosphorus shells have struck areas in southern Lebanon. The Israeli army has ordered evacuations from several neighborhoods in southern Beirut ahead of potential airstrikes. In Lebanon, at least 3,243 people have been killed. 14,134 have been injured. Canada has revised its visitor visa policies, ending the automatic issuance of 10-year multiple entry visas. Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada announced the update last week. Previous visas allowed visitors to enter and exit Canada freely. Under the new rules, visa officers will assess each applicant individually. The officers will determine whether a single or multiple entry visa is appropriate. The validity period will be set based on factors like the purpose of the visit, funds, medical conditions, and ties to the applicant's home country. For multiple entry visas, the validity could be shorter than 10 years. The change is meant to provide a tailored approach to issuing visitor visas. Niagara Falls in Ontario captivates millions of nature lovers annually with its awe-inspiring beauty. It straddles the Canadian border and flows into Lake Ontario. The falls are made up of 3 main waterfalls: Horseshoe, American, and Bridal Veil. They offer a powerful and majestic sight that leaves visitors in awe. The falls have scenic observation points and boat tours that take guests close to the falls. The falls are surrounded by national parks both in Canada and the United States. It is a year-round destination and offers travelers natural wonders throughout the seasons. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.